Hi, I'm Don Jones. In this episode, we'll be exploring how to take a PowerShell one-liner and turn it into a robust, flexible, reusable administrative tool using a minimum of scripting. If you are still thinking that PowerShell is a scripting language, then you're probably not taking advantage of its real power. Sure, PowerShell has a built-in scripting language, but much of its real usefulness comes from really powerful commands that you just run without having to script much at all. For example, here's a command that retrieves WMI information from a remote computer. I'm retrieving the service pack version number and operating system build number. By running a second command, I can retrieve the BIOS serial number. Now, this is a powerful way to retrieve management information from remote machines. Of course, doing this individually for a whole bunch of computers would be a real pain. Let's say that we have a list of computer names in a text file with one computer name per line. It'd be nice to have PowerShell get all of that information for us all at once. And it can. The computer name parameter of the getWMIObject command can accept more than one computer name. Rather than passing a single computer name, we'll just have to retrieve the contents of our text file using the getContent commandlet. By inserting the contents of the text file in the parameter, PowerShell retrieves the desired information from each of the computers. Of course, we've still got to run the command a second time for that BIOS information. Another way to approach this would be to bundle the commands together into a script so that we can run them whenever we want without having to retype the commands individually. This function does just that. Notice the special process script block? That allows this function to accept pipeline input. For each item we pipe in, the process script block executes one time. In it, we use the special $_ variable to refer to the piped in item. Since we plan to pipe in names, we'll use the $_ variable for the computer name parameter. To use this function, we'll get our text file content and then pipe those names, those computer names, into our function. We get basically the same results as before, except this time, each computer's operating system and BIOS information are conveniently co-located. But the output sure isn't pretty. What would be better is to have all of that information on a single line for each computer. One way to do that would be to retrieve the WMI information and then construct a table ourselves using tab characters and so forth to make all of the information line up. But that's too much work. With a lot less work, we can get PowerShell to do the fancy formatting for us. We should also try to get the computer name to display somehow so that we can tell which data goes with which computer. And again, PowerShell will make it easy. Here's a modification to our script. We're still retrieving that WMI information, but this time we're storing it in two variables. After retrieving the information, we create a new blank object. To that object, we add a property, which contains the current computer's name. Then, we add the build number and service pack version to the object, giving it a total of 3 properties. We add a 4th property for the BIOS serial number, and then we output that customized object to the pipeline. We run it in the same way as before, piping in computer names. This time, however, we get the slick-looking custom output that we were after. A benefit of this technique is that PowerShell knows how to do lots of things with objects, not just how to format tables. We can easily take the information we've gathered and display it as a list or export it to a CSV file. Here's our exact same script with just one minor modification. Rather than allowing PowerShell to format our information as a table, we're exporting it to a CSV file. The result is a file that can be imported into a database, placed into an Excel spreadsheet, or whatever we need. By combining our desired information into a custom object, we've taken advantage of PowerShell's ability to format it, convert the data to other output types, and gained a lot of flexibility. We can now take input from a file or even Active Directory without modifying our core function or worrying about how to format the output. That's the perfect way to do things in PowerShell. And it's not much extra work now, and it can be a big time saver in the future. Thanks for joining. I'm Don Jones, and I'll see you online at Concentrated Technology for more tips on Windows PowerShell and other Windows administrative technologies.